Hi, I'm Eugene. I work on FSharp support in JetBrains Rider, and I would like to give you some small overview what Rider is. It's a cross-platform .NET IDE. It's built on top of IntelliJ. It's like a rich editor, version control system integration, and pluggable, lots of plugins, that kind of stuff, and ReSharper that makes out-of-process analysis, gives some refactoring supports, and the Rider thing tries to tie these two together, so you kind of have ReSharper outside of Visual Studio, like on the Mac, on everywhere else. The other thing I'd like to mention is FSharp compiler service. It is a library, like the compiler, that gives some additional info that tooling can consume. And so we use it just like any other tool that has FSharp support in it. So what it gives, it parses, it gives some errors, warnings, it gives all the type checking, type inference stuff, and in addition to that, it also does things like provides code completion info, some fancy tooltips. It can also use things, find me all uses of that symbol and this kind of stuff. So FSharp plugin is it consists of two things. It is a plugin for IntelliJ part and the ReSharper part. So the ReSharper part integrates with FSharp compiler service, like they do in Visual Studio and VS for Mac. We also wanted initially to maybe use FS autocomplete that Ionite uses, but it was kind of too high level and just wouldn't work out to make cross-language and this kind of story work in ReSharper, so we just used compiler service without other abstractions on it. So we take what we get from the compiler service and build another abstraction in the ReSharper semantic model. And if you had an experience with ReSharper on IntelliJ plugins, you could probably know is PSI. So we made it cross-language stuff for navigation, some analysis, completion, and test discovery, running some debugging features, and using something built on top of compiler service in ReSharper that works in Rider. Things that are kind of unique is we update info about FSharp projects, and this info is immediately seen by other code and solution like written in C# or Visual.net. But this approach gives some limitations. We use compiler service to do the name resolution. So if you have some name in code, compiler service tries to find what that name refers to. And when you use symbol that define it is in a C# project, it is actually output assembly of that project. And if you change some stuff in that C# project, the FSharp part won't see any changes until you recompile. And then if that C# project has some errors, you won't be able to compile it until you fix them. So about some features that come in the next release, gonna be in December, we finally bring in the rename support. We're doing some quick fixes remove unused opens. We are bringing some typing assistant, when you type in a parent and insert the second one in the quote, some smart auto indenting and this kind of stuff. And some features for example, if you have a union case in a union, it actually being compiled to a lot of additional members that can be used from other languages like C#. So you have properties, is that this case, or generate create a new instance of the union case, and so on, a lot of things that we will try to find in addition when you're looking for the initial union case. It will find all the generated members in C#, and when you rename this thing, it will also rename all the generated members on the languages part. The previous release didn't contain many interesting features in FSharp, and it mostly was a lot of infrastructure work that was be doing like under the hood. But the one before that, we introduced like file ordering stuff when you can reorder files in the project, and the scripting support. It took a lot of amount to do these two things, because for file ordering you have to like plug into MS Build, then put it into ReSharper, then put it into IntelliJ like on the front end in Rider. And it's kind of not the only FSharp plugin that had to be changed to support this kind of stuff. And for FSharp scripting, to make it make find usages and code completion work across scripts, FSharp projects, and C# projects, it also had to be like overrided a lot of things in ReSharper to support this kind of interoperability. I'm gonna give some small demos, and as everyone makes disclaimers today, I would like to have one, so it's like really the developer build that can really fail, and so if it doesn't work something, I just restart it. This is bugging me. So at the workshop days, we had like a cool workshop that there was a Uno game. I wanted to like do some stuff to show some navigation we have, like there is a design function. We can find it easily. We can find all usages of that. But when talking about find usages, for instance, let's say we have a union case started. We can now find we can see where the instance of the union case is created and when they actually pattern matching, which is kind of handy. Also, like if we're going to see where it used at, okay, it's mostly in this file. Let's go to some tests. We can just run it all. So it compiles and run some tests. If we want to check which one did fail, we can just like go to it. Or if you want to, we can like debug a single test like this. So it's basically like how navigation works almost everywhere. And if we talk about editing code, I have some other demo project. Oh, cool, it's debugs here. So here we have like two projects. One is that C# on the left and F# on the right. Should I make it bigger? Yeah. Sorry for that. Kind of. A bit more. Better now? So the F# project references the C# project, and we can like do some let F be a foo instance. It will open the namespace. We can navigate to foo and find usages. We can also like remove unused opens, do some stuff like infield. Let's say it be a number that 1 plus that infield. But the interesting thing here is we have an error in that project. So actually it shouldn't have been compiled, like it won't be able to compile. And the one thing that I didn't mention, like I was mostly working on recently, is like to try to make that you would not have to compile C# on VBA code at all when you use it from F#. And so you can like just apply a quick fix for it, and you immediately see that F# has errors because now it is a string field, not an int one. So we like probably should also rename it. You can go back to the C# and this stuff. we can probably add like another class, let's call it bar, and just use it from FSharp instantly. This kind of is still work in progress, but it turns out to be already usable, at least, and we probably have it in the next release. So how did we do that? There is a shim for file system already in the compiler service that can be used, like in situation when the real file system cannot be used. It's actually our case because we have like several abstractions between IntelliJ ReSharper and the real file system on the disk, and they can miscommunicate a bit. So we use like that file system shim to like make everything work properly and see proper timestamps. And I thought it could be like a cool idea to just bring the similar abstraction for assembly reading, like what compiler service does, and to reuse what we have in ReSharper for C# and Visual Basic projects, and like to integrate ReSharper back to compiler service. And that's like the most important feature for now. If you are wondering, the plugin for Sharp is open source, and like we would really have to have some external contributions. Like if anyone wants to, for instance, implement expector support, I'd be really happy to help in it. Thank you.